Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet our Sand and Sea Sunhat. It is similar to a bucket hat as far as the shape, but it's not as flat on the top as a regular bucket hat. It's going to fit roomy and comfortable 22 to 24 inch head. And remember, if it's coming out too big, just go down a hook size. If it's coming out too small, just go up a hook size and loosen your stitches just a little bit. You can easily adjust that just by changing your hook. All right, this is a super simple pattern, and I wanted it to resemble and match our Sand and Sea poncho, as I showed you there at the beginning of the video. I had 2 more skeins left of both these yarns, and I thought I have got to make a hat, and I think I'm going to keep it for myself. I know I always say that and I end up giving it away, but I just love the poncho and I wanted a hat to go with it, and I just love this hat. It is gorgeous. And of course this has become one of my favorite colors of yarn. This Marl, it's Caribbean and it's beautiful, and the pattern is super easy. And if you don't want to put a flower on it, I mean, you could do it any colors that you want. If you made a Sand and Sea poncho, make a hat to match. Or maybe you don't want the Sand and Sea poncho but you want a cute sun hat. This is a super simple sun hat you could stitch up really quickly. Now you can find all the information, the complete pattern, and lots of pictures on my blog. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. All right, let's talk about what we need for supplies. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about, of course, is the yarn. And we're using the same exact yarn that we used for the Sand and Sea summer poncho because we want it to match. It's not exactly stitched the same, of course, but it's similar, and with similar yarns, you'll have a wonderful set. And so we're using the Premier Basix Marl, Caribbean or Caribbean, however you want to say that is the colorway. And you're going to need about 3 ounces. That's probably a little more than you need, but just to be on the safe side, about 3 ounces of this. Then we're using the Nutmeg that we used as well, and that's Premier Basix. It's Nutmeg, and you're going to need about 3 ounces of that one as well. All right. Now, again, that's probably a little more than you need, but I like to overemphasize the amount just to make sure we have what we need to make our project. All right. Now, these are the colors that I chose. You could do the hat all in one color. You could change it as often as you want to, stripe it however that you want. And however you made your poncho, use those same colors so you have a matching set. Now, we are going to add a fun flower. And so you're going to need a button, and it's just a decorative button. And I had this one on hand, and I think it looks really cute with both colors. And I'm going to put this in the center of my flower. I'm going to see, I didn't measure it. Let's measure it real quick. It looks like it's about 1 inch and almost 1.5 inches. But the truth is, you can use any size button that you want to for your flower. All right. And the truth is, you don't even have to put a button if you don't want to. I just want to because I like this button. I think it's super cute and will look super cute on my hat. All right, we're going to be stitching with our eye hook. That's a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. All right, and then you'll need a pair of scissors and then a needle to weave in those ends. Now we're starting with our color 1, which is this beautiful Caribbean color, and of course whatever color you choose is fine. We'll start with our slip knot. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and join this chain 5 into a circle, and then we'll make that stay knot. Now you can use the magic circle or the magic ring or whatever method that you like best for making your beginning circle. I'm old school. I do it the old way. All right, so we're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. And now we're going to stitch 11 more double crochets in our circle. You'll also notice I'm stitching over the tail of yarn. That way I can close up that circle when I'm done. We do not want a hole on the top of our hat because of course we're starting at the top and working our way down. Well, I was talking, so I lost count. So let's count, see how many I've done so far. All right, so here's my chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be 10, 11, and 12 double crochets. Oops, there we go. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, but before we do row 2, we're going to go ahead and turn this over, gently pull on that string, close up that hole, and I'm going to go ahead and take my needle and weave this in. Now you could do this at the end if you want to. I just like to go ahead and get it done. Then I don't have to go back and do it. All right, so I'm just going to weave it in. Go forward and then we go back the way we came, back and forth just to make sure and go through some of those fibers of the yarn. We do not want the top of our hat opening up. I mean, if we're out having a good time and someone's like, hey, you got a hole in the top of your hat, that would not be fun. Alrighty, let's go ahead and clip that off. And so now I don't have to worry about weaving that in. And of course that's on the inside. And this is how row 1 should look. 12 double crochets, joined to our chain 3 and chain 3. All right, let's do row 2. Our chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. So we're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And now we're just going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. Two double crochets in each of the double crochets, working all the way around. And row 1 had 12 double crochets, so row 2 is going to have 24 double crochets. 2 double crochets in each, all the way around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I have stitched 2 double crochets in each around, and again at the beginning we stitched 1 in the same stitch as our chain 3. So we have 24 double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now we're just basically going to repeat for row 3 what we did on row 2. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and again we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. So again, we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets, working all the way around. All right, so we had 12, row 2 we have 24, and so row 3 we're going to have 48 double crochets. Don't forget to join back to your chain 3. So I repeated that all the way around, 2 double crochets in each of my double crochets around, so I have 48 double crochets. Now you may notice that it's going to ripple just a little. Don't worry about that, because this next row it's going to straighten it out perfectly. All right, so we're going to join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next 2. Don't double crochet in the same stitch as the chain 3 this time. We're going to double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. So because we have a chain 3 and then we stitch 2, that gives us 3 double crochets. Now in the next double crochet, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. All right, and so our repeat around is 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And so to help you remember, I do this. I think of it this way: 3 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next 3, 2 in the next. I don't know why I do that, but it helps me remember what I'm supposed to do. So I'm stitching 3 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 3, and 2 in the next. 1 and 2. And we'll repeat this, working all the way around, and again join back to our chain 3. And you will notice on this row that rippliness will go away and it will start to form the top of our hat. All right, so 1 double crochet in the next 3, 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. And again, join back to that chain 3 with a slip stitch. So I have completed row 4, and row 4 has 60 double crochets. And you can see now that we're starting to form the top of our hat. All right, so now our next row, row 5, we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets around. All right, so our chain 3 counts as 1, so we'll go in the next one and just stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets, working all the way around our hat. No more increases, just 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets, working all the way around. And again, we'll join back to our chain 3. So I have completed row 5, and you'll see how it's starting to curl in because we're not adding any more increases. All right, and you'll notice on here that I did not chain 3, and that's because I joined to my chain 3, and I'm going to cut my color 1 and bring in my color 2. And now I'm going to do my chain 3. Remember, when changing colors, you should always do that chain 3 after, if that chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. All right, so what we're going to do now is just stitch 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets, working all the way around. So we're just repeating what we just did on row 5. 1 double crochet in each, working all the way around, and then join back to that chain 3 with a slip stitch. I have completed row 6, which was just 1 double crochet using color 2 in each of our stitches around. All right, I'm going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch, only I'm not going to chain 3, I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet, chain 1. We're going to skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet in the next. And this is our repeat for row 7. And we'll do this all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. And we'll work this all the way around our hat. And then when we get back around, we're going to join to the 3rd chain of that beginning, chain 4. And again, you'll begin to see how the hat is curling down to make the sides of our sun hat. All right, so double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and repeat all the way around. I have completed row 7. Double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 all the way around. And when we get to that last chain 1, skip 1, we're going to join to the 3rd chain of our beginning chain 4 and chain 3. For row 8, we're going to do a solid row of double crochets. So we only chained 3, then we're going to double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next double crochet, double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next double crochet. And so we're stitching a solid row of double crochets around. And this is going to give us a similar look that our poncho, Sand and Sea poncho, but on that one we did triples where we're only doing double crochets on this one. And of course it isn't exactly the same. It's just close enough where it makes a nice set. All right, and so we're stitching 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in the double crochet, and repeat all the way around our hat. All right, we'll do this all the way around and then join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 8, which is our double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces, double crochet in each of the double crochets around. So again, that brings us back to 60 double crochets. And so what we're going to do for the next 4 rows is we're going to repeat row 7 and row 8, alternating every other row. And that's going to give us a really pretty side around our hat before we start the brim of the hat. All right, so we're going to repeat row 7 and row 8 for 4 more rows, alternating every other row. Now I have completed those 4 additional rows, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of solid and 3 rows of our open double crochets, chain 1 and repeat. Now this is how the length is for the pattern. If you want the side of your hat to be a little bit longer, you could always repeat it, for 2 more rows. It's up to you. Or maybe you want it a little bit shorter, you could do 2 less rows. Okay, that's where you need to grab your measuring tape, measure your head for the length and the width, make sure everything's working out great. Now this is a roomy, big, comfortable hat. And I just love how it's turning out, don't you? All right, let's bring in our color 1. I've already cut my color 2 yarn, and I'm going to bring in my color 1. And we're going to start making the brim of our hat. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. So I've chained 3. That counts as my first double crochet. I'm going to double crochet in the next double crochet, and then I'm going to stitch 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. All right, our chain 3 counted as 1. We did another one, and then 2 in the next. And so our repeat is 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 2 double crochets in the next. I call that doing 2 and 2. Again, when I say those, they're not technical terms. It just helps me remember what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 2 in the next. And this is going to bring out our brim so that it can be made wider and keep the sun out of our eyes. All right, so 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 2 double crochets in the next 1 and 2. And we will repeat this, working all the way around our hat, and then join back to that first double crochet. I have completed row 13, and you can see how that made that flare out. Isn't that pretty? All right, so we joined to our first chain 3 and we chained 3. And now what we're going to do for 2 more rows is we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, because we want a nice wide brim to keep the sun out of our eyes. All right, so 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, working all the way around. Then we'll join back to our chain 3 and repeat. So we have 2 more rows of 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets, working all the way around. Now I'm only doing 2 more rows. If you want a larger brim on your hat, you could do 3 or 4. Totally up to you. This style of sun hat is somewhat, but not exactly, but similar to a bucket hat. And so most of those don't have a real wide brim, but I want this one to have a little bit wider brim because I want it to be able to keep the sun out of my eyes. All right, so we're stitching 1 double crochet in each of our double crochets around, join to our chain 3 and repeat. So we have 2 rows, or 2 more rows of solid double crochet. I completed those 2 rows of solid double crochet, and you can see it gives us a pretty nice size brim around our hat. But of course, like I said, if you want it even longer, just continue with those rows. All right, but I think this one is perfect. And so what we're going to do to finish our hat is we join to our chain 3, and this time we did not chain 3, we only chained 1. And we're just going to put a row of single crochet around the edge of our hat brim. And that's just going to help it hold its shape. And then once we get this trim on, I'm going to show you how to make a lovely flower if you want to add a flower, and how to add the flower and the button. You can add just a button. You don't have to add any buttons or flowers if you don't want to. I just want this to have just a little bit more of a Hawaiian flair, and I think by adding a pretty little flower, it's not real little though, that it gives it just a little bit more Hawaiian flair. Alrighty, so I'm just going to continue on around, single crocheting in each of my double crochets all the way around. I'll join back to my first single crochet and tie off. I have completed that row of single crochet along the edge of the brim of my hat. Alright, so I'm going to cut my yarn. I joined to the first single crochet. Alright, and I'm going to grab that loop in the next stitch, and pull it under so we have a nice finish. Weave that in the back. And by pulling that loop through, it gives you a much nice appearance, just a neater appearance, all right? And so I do have a little bit of weaving in to do. All right, let's make our flower. And we're actually going to begin the flower the same way we began the hat. We did a slip knot. Now we're going to chain 5, join our chain 5 into a circle, make that stay knot. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. And now we're going to stitch 11 double crochets, just like we did when we began the hat, because we want a total of 12 all together. And again, I'm stitching over that tail of yarn so we can make sure we close up that hole in the center of our flower. All right, now I'm using double crochets for the center of my flower because I have that nice big button that's going to look super cute on my flower and on my hat. And again, I was talking, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, I'm going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. We're going to turn it over and close up that hole just like we did on row 1 of our hat. And the flower is really simple and it turns out super pretty. And I think it even has just a little bit of a Hawaiian or tropical feel to it. All right, I'm just weaving this in so this will stay put. There we go. All right, and so row 1 of our flower is just like row 1 of our hat. 12 double crochets, join to the chain 3 and chain 3. All right, so we've chained 3. We're going to stitch 3 triples. So we put 2 wraps on our hook in the next double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch in the next double crochet. All right, chain 3, 3 triples in the next double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and chain 3. Slip stitch in the next double crochet. And see how we're making nice big petals? All right. All right, so now we're going to chain 3. 3 triples in the next double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3, slip stitch in the next double crochet. So now we have 3 petals, and we're going to repeat this 3 more times so we have 6 petals. So I repeated that 3 more times, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. Aren't they pretty? And I like how they kind of curl up a little bit, and I think it just gives it a little bit of like a hibiscus look, like a tropical flower. All right, so we're going to join back here to that first double crochet with a slip stitch, which I have done, and we're going to cut our yarn, but I want you to leave a little bit of tail of yarn on there. We're going to go ahead and tie that off, and we're going to use this to sew it onto our hat. I decided I want to put it to the side right in the center of these color 2 rows, and I've got my needle on here, and so what we're going to do is go under, and we're going to go in and out, but what I do is I go forward and then I come back like this, and I think that helps it attach better because what we're attaching it to has a little bit of holes to it. All right, I'm going to show you the back of it when I'm done, but I'm just going around the circle of the center of my flower. I'm not going to sew my petals down, just the center portion. I'm just going around, making sure I'm going through to the back. Let's see, I haven't got all the way around just yet. But I don't want my flower to come off. That's why I'm doing it this way. There we go. So I'm going to go right back in there. I want to show you under here where I've stitched around. And I'm going to look because like right there, I feel like it's not stitched very well. So I can kind of go in and stitch it better. And you just go around, make sure it's going to stay put on your hat. Because, I mean, we don't want to lose our flower, right? All right, and I'm going to go ahead and weave this in back here. Make sure it's going to stay put. And then I'm going to add that really fun button. Give one more good little loop there. All righty. So if you don't want to add a button, it looks really cute just like that. But I found this adorable button that I think is going to add just a little bit of fun to my hat. And so I'm going to sew that on. All right, let's sew our button on. I've already got my needle poked through. I'm going to bring it up. That's a lot of yarn I put on there, but I'm going to leave a tail so I can make sure that button is attached. All right, so I'm going to go in and in. And I'm not going to go in the center of the hole. I'm going to go next to it and make a couple of stitches. Where'd it go? There we go. Because I just want my button to stay attached. All right, my needle is, or my thread is a little bit thick, so I'm not going to do too many stitches, just enough that button's going to stay attached. And then on the back, I'm going to cut that string a little shorter. We're just going to make a couple of knots for the button. And again, you can choose any size button that you want, any colors to match the hat that you're making, or don't add a button or a flower at all. It's totally up to you. I just really like it on this hat. I think it just adds some little extra fun. And when those petals are kind of sticking up, it gives it just a little bit of a 3D look. Isn't that fun? I just absolutely love it. And it's going to look great with my Sand and Sea poncho. All right, so that's our Sand and Sea summer hat.